Have you ever tried to freeze meat and then forgot to check it in the freezer for 2 years? Now imagine if you forgot a mammoth for 30,000 years. There are some strange ways that planet Earth preserves the remains of creatures that once lived. This is called permafrost, a natural freezer. And it's no wonder that it preserves almost everything from cave lions with full whiskers to horses with their entire bodies, mane and all. And believe it or not, what's preserved here isn't just tiny bones buried in the ground. They're like Ice Age surprise packs with skin, muscles, teeth, eyes, and sometimes even the smell of the ancient animal still intact. In this video, you'll discover the most fascinating and unusual prehistoric animals that have been found preserved in ice. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. Siberian Sabertooth Tiger. We're opening our frozen list with style. We have a prehistoric cat that hasn't come out of the freezer in 37,000 years. This is a Siberian saber-tooth feline cub, mummified and vacuum-sealed by the planet itself, and only discovered in 2020 on the banks of the frozen Badiarika River in Yakutia, Siberia. A perfect place for anyone wanting to hide from the apocalypse and archaeologists for thousands of years. But wait, this isn't Milo-Milodon, the famous one in the museum. This belongs to Team Home Homotherium, a cousin that's not as fierce but just as strong. This creature died at the age of 3 weeks and was found with its skin, fur, claws, muscles, and even its whiskers intact. What's even more remarkable is that even after all this time and the changes in the continent, the whiskers really remained. And unlike the dry fossils you see in science books, this one is almost ready for a photo shoot. The scientists were amazed at the level of preservation. And in fact, it's really not every day that you see an extinct feline cub with a complete face, and not just the body buried in the cave. Cave lion. In 2017, scientists discovered what seemed to be the freshest cub of prehistory, a cave lion so well preserved that it looked like it was ready to roar. Where was it found? Of course, in Siberia, one of the places on Earth that almost has a quick freeze function. The cub named Sparta had been lying in the permafrost for about 28,000 years, as if it had just been sleeping for a very long time. And when we say it was preserved, that's not an exaggeration. The skin, fur, and paws are all intact. The nose, ears, claws, and even some internal organs. It's so complete that you could use it as an advertisement for an anti-aging product. The most amazing thing is, it's not the only one in Sparta. Next to it is a tub named Boris, which was discovered in 2018. However, according to studies, they are not siblings, and they did not live at the same time. Boris is 43,000 years old, while Sparta is 28,000 years old. Two lion cubs frozen for 15,000 years. They both seem like toys for science. Discoveries like these are gold for science because the cave lion is an extinct species that is rarely found intact and in such detail. Now, scientists have access to everything: DNA, tissue, anatomy, and even possible clues about how these felines lived. Prehistoric snow horse. Now, take a look at this. A horse from the Ice Age, completely preserved with its skin, hooves, and dignity, kept in ice for 40,000 years. This specimen is so well preserved that if someone put a cell in it, it could practically go right back to the Pliocene. This prehistoric horse from the extinct species Eolinensis was discovered in 2018 at the famous Bodigica crater in Siberia, also known as the gateway to all the frozen creatures in the story. Bodigica crater, a crater in Siberia, is also called the gateway to all the frozen creatures in the story, which was about 1 to 2 weeks old when it died, probably drowned in the freezing snow and the ice preserved it, turning it into a time capsule. This is the ancestor of modern Siberian horses, adapted to the cold, small, sturdy, and with a mane worthy of a hair influencer. When the body was found, the scientists could hardly believe it. The internal organs were intact and there was liquid blood, perfectly preserved muscles, and there were no signs of decay at all. And yes, you heard that right. Liquid blood after 40,000 years. Now you understand why the scientific community in the lab almost had a mini heart attack. Bully mammoth. The bully mammoth is almost like a hairy, turbocharged elephant with tusks as big as a bicycle and a built-in winter coat. It stands about 4 meters tall and weighs up to 6 tons, and it's definitely not the kind of animal you'd want to see running toward you. But what really earned it a spot on this list isn't just its size, but the history of the preserved specimens that are truly remarkable. Another one of the most well-known cases is that of a young female mammoth named Yucca, which was discovered in 2010 in Siberia. Complete skin muscles, spinal cord, brain, fur, and even traces of liquid blood. The animal, which died more than 28,000 years ago, actually looked like it was still ready to be cooked. In some cases, scientists even found the contents of the stomach, showing what the animal ate before it died. Some carcasses were so well preserved that even trunk wrinkles were clearly visible. These discoveries truly gave scientists an extraordinary glimpse into the life, death, and decomposition of the mammoth. All of this is due to simple natural freezing, like an industrial freezer that perfectly embalmed the animal. This armored tank from the Ice Age is like a modern rhinoceros, but hairier, with a bigger horn, and a body that looks like it's from the Stone Age. But the beauty of this is not just its external appearance, but also the state of preservation. In 2020, in the Rio of Yakutia in Iberia, scientists discovered a baby woolly rhinoceros that was incredibly well preserved. You can clearly see the skin, baby teeth, horn, intestines, and even the fur on its hind legs. Everything is still intact, and all of this is after 34,000 years in extreme cold. It died young and was probably drowned and immediately frozen, resulting in a time capsule complete with everything, even its waste. It's truly a wealth of information for those who want to know about the metabolism, growth, and diet of this hairy giant. Okay, Bill? Next up is the cave bear. In this list, he's like the building manager of the Ice Age. Big, fierce-looking, and with a face that looks like he wouldn't accept visitors without warning. The cave bear, a relative of the powerful brown bear, dominated the caves of Europe and Asia until it disappeared about 20,000 years ago. But like every famous prehistoric animal, it seems like it still wants to come back from the ice. In 2020, a group of ranger herders on Liakovsky Island, Siberia, discovered a cave bear completely frozen, with its skin, teeth, claws, nose, and even its entire nose and forehead, all preserved by the ice. This animal was so well preserved that honestly, it looked ready to be a character in the final scene of an Ice Age movie. And the most amazing thing is, it's not a cub, it's not an adult bear that was found fully formed. This is the first cave bear found naturally preserved and not just the skeleton. The scientists were amazed and immediately began their study. The internal organs, brain, even the contents of the stomach, and even the bear's feces are being closely examined, because in science, even what others don't want to see is considered gold. Prehistoric wolf. If there's one animal that nature wanted to preserve in ice while it was still young, it's the prehistoric wolf pup. And this discovery truly warms the hearts and minds of paleontologists. In 2016, during a gold mining excavation in Yukon, Canada, scientists discovered the almost complete body of a prehistoric wolf pup, which they named Zor. And it's not just a simple fossil. The body is intact, as if it had just taken a nap and was frozen in the middle of its sleep. The fur is intact. Teeth, claws, whiskers, muscles, internal organs, all preserved with a level of detail that's almost unbelievable. It is believed that Zor died about 57,000 years ago at just a few weeks old. And most amazingly, her body was preserved in an almost perfect state. And if you're wondering why, it's because she was probably buried quickly after a collapse inside her den, and the ice did the rest of the work. The result is the best preserved wolf cub ever found in the world. Even though her life was short, Zor left a significant scientific legacy. And let's admit it, it's hard to beat a 57,000-year-old wolf cub that's still ready to play and bite its owner's hand. Frozen puppy dogger. In 2018, scientists in Canada discovered another completely frozen canine puppy that is estimated to be 18,000 years old. And when we say complete, the nose, teeth, paws, whiskers, everything was intact as if it was just placed in the Earth's natural freezer after a short nap. The question here is this a wolf or the first domesticated dog in history? Its DNA is so ancient and unique that they named it Dogger. In the local language, Inangate, it means friend and is used when you don't really know what the creature is. This puppy died young, around 2 months old, and was preserved in perfect condition, quickly, in dry conditions, and with no chance to decompose. What's even more remarkable is that the baby teeth are still intact. And because of this, scientists were able to closely analyze its diet, growth, and the bacteria that once lived in its body. Despite initial doubts, more recent studies show that Dogger is most likely an ancestral wolf, but it has unique DNA that is near the lineage that would later produce modern dogs. And that means this puppy could be in the middle of the transition from wolf to dog, becoming man's friend. Bison. To finish this list of frozen animals, here is the tepe bison, a true symbol of strength and ancestor of the modern bison. This animal is like an armored tank from the Pliocene prairies, a direct and sturdy ancestor of modern bison, hairier, stronger, and with an aura that says, I'm ready to fight a mammoth if I have to. Like an Ice Age veteran, it also decided to return from the ice. In 2011 in Siberia, scientists found a bison that looked like it had just recently died, but there was a small, unusual detail. It had been preserved for about 9,000 years, along with its skin, horns, muscles, heart, and even the internal organs. The body was so complete that researchers were able to examine the tissue, nutrition, diseases, and aging of the animal, almost like a full post-mortem checkup. And for those who love details, even the contents inside were preserved. Because, of course, none of these animals escaped scientific curiosity about what they ate before they became frozen fossils. Now, if after seeing the wolves, cubs, horse, lion, mammoth, rhinoceros, and bison carefully preserved in ice, you still think that ice is only for God, then you should reconsider your concept. And the Earth really preserved these animals for thousands of years. And now, as they slowly melt and return to the surface, the question remains, are we ready to face the past that is knocking on our door? And if you're intrigued by the animals emerging from the ice, wait for something even more surprising. Because there are some of them that people don't just want to study, but actually bring back to life. And yes, we're talking about cloning, gene editing, and multi-million-dollar projects that are trying to bring extinct animals back to life. So stay tuned for our next video and subscribe to our channel for knowledge, mysteries, and other amazing things.